What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout Spot where you already know. It's Real Talk, Sports Talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny. And let's attempt to recap today's ugly and disgusting 13-8 New York Jets loss to the Atlanta Falcons at MetLife Stadium today. In a game I predicted would be ugly. I knew it would be low scoring. In fact, in my pregame prediction video, I think I predicted a score of 13-9, 13-10, 16-10. Well, I almost nailed the score, except I got the pick wrong. Because, like an idiot, I picked the Jets to win. I went with my heart when I should have went with my gut. And I should have picked the Falcons because, realistically, like I've said before, I have no confidence the Jets can beat anybody in the NFL because they can't score any points. So here we are again. Same thing we've been seeing the last 6 games. First and foremost, though, I want to congratulate the true diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. Specifically, one of my newer viewers, at Damon Bramble, who kindly sent me a message, commented on one of my videos. He's a diehard fan, so I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support, buddy. Good win. Enjoy it. 6-6. You're in first place. Well on your way to the playoffs. And that's all you can ask for as a fan. But as a Jet fan, realistically, all you can ask for is for this season to just end. This has been a horror show since the beginning of the season started. 4 plays in, it went downhill from there. And realistically, in my opinion, there should have been no reason for that. The Jets have a solid team. Just because we lost our quarterback shouldn't have been a reason for us to just throw our season away and punt this season. And it seems like that's exactly what happened. Here we are with a trio of quarterbacks that are not NFL caliber. I can't sit here and believe that Joe Douglas allowed this shit to happen. I can't. As I said in prior videos, this falls back on him. How could you realistically look at this trio, this quarterback room, and with a straight face think that they were good enough or competent enough to play good enough football to win games and get this team into the playoffs? How could you have thought that? Tim Boyle today, terrible. He was flat out horrible. He proved that he shouldn't be on an NFL roster. I'd be hard-pressed to think that he would make it as a quarterback in the XFL. He's just not good. His talent level, his skill level just isn't there. And Trevor Siemian, he's no better, especially at this point in his career. Tim Boyle was atrocious. I'm sorry. I mean, he made a couple good throws. He actually threw the ball vertically a few times. Hackett actually pulled a trick play out of his bag with a flea flicker that Boyle threw 30 yards down the field, 35 yards or whatever it was to Xavier Gibson. So there was a glimpse of a vertical passing offense, but then other than that, it was the same predictable garbage. Nonsense. We tried to establish the run. Looked like we were going to be able to do that. In fact, in the first quarter, the offensive line looked like they were going to be pretty stout. I thought they held their own in the first half. Second half, it was a tale of two halves. They weren't as good in the second half, but they were pretty good in the first half. In fact, we actually had a Dalvin Cook sighting. They gave him the ball. He had a couple good runs. He had a good catch out of the backfield. Then he fumbles the football. Gives it to the Falcons on our side of the field. They score their only touchdown, and here we are. Which I knew game was over then because we can't score. So how do we expect to beat anybody if we fall behind? We weren't winning this game 2-0. Thanks to a safety by our defense. So again, our defense was able to put some points on the board. Problem is they only put 2 points on the board when we needed them to put 15 points on the board. This is crazy. It's insane to me how bad this offense is. Through 6 games, we've only scored 58 points in an offensively driven, pass-happy NFL. That shit is unacceptable. You got teams that score touchdowns in this league by accident. It's mind-boggling to me. 6 points is all we were able to muster on offense. 3 turnovers. A pick by Tim Boyle that actually got him pulled out of the game. Sailed over the head of Garrett Wilson right into the chest of the safety, Jeremy Bates. Looked like it was a perfect throw to Bates. He just wasn't good. He was inaccurate. He was missing guys all over the field. In fact, the announcers were saying that there were multiple people that were open on multiple different plays. He just wasn't seeing the field properly. We couldn't get Breece Hall going. Penalties, fumbles. I mentioned the Dalvin Cook fumble, and then when Trevor Siemian came in the fourth quarter, looked like we were mustering a little bit of a drive there. He fumbles the football. We aren't good. We aren't good enough to beat teams when we don't make mistakes, and then when we make mistakes, we just make matters even worse. I mean, this is the worst offense I've ever seen watching football. And trust me when I tell you, I've seen some bad offenses. This has got to be the worst. Statistically, it's going down as one of the worst. At this pace, they'll be the worst offense in NFL history, which is absolutely embarrassing. How do you justify letting Nathaniel Hackett continue to call plays? How? How do you justify that? That's a question that I would love to ask Robert Saleh. Saleh is a coach that has no clue how to fix this mess. This team is beyond broken offensively. Beyond broken, and he has no clue how to fix it. The only thing that I would have suggested to him weeks ago to try to fix this thing would have been to strip Hackett of his play calling duties, and hopefully the new coordinator, new voice in the meeting rooms, new voice calling plays, seeing the field. Maybe he can be a little bit more innovative. Maybe he can provide a spark. That'd be the only change that I would advise, or I would have advised him to do weeks ago. To me, right now, it's just too late to try to salvage the season, to try to get anything out of his offense, and he didn't do that. His biggest move to try to boost the offense was to move Hackett from the sidelines to the booth. How'd that shit work out? Really? You really thought that was going to make a difference? What you should have did was move him to the parking lot. Because it looks like he's calling plays from the parking lot. Because he has no idea what the hell he's doing. I said on my last video, it'd be better, the offense would be better off if they didn't have a coordinator altogether. You just allowed them to go out there and call their own plays and wing it. I bet you they'd be better than what we're seeing today. This is crazy how he's still employed. And we all know why, right? His buddy, Aaron Rodgers, God forbid they demote him or strip him of his play calling duties. You don't want to piss off Aaron Rodgers. If that's how you're going to run a team, then this is the byproduct you're going to get. You can't worry about trying to make or appease another player or even a star player. You got to do, as the head coach, you got to do what's best for the team. Whatever moves you have to make, whatever changes you have to make those to try to change what's been happening. You can't continue to do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result. That's insanity. It's crazy to me. Even today, Saleh to me is one of the worst coaches when it comes to coaching accordingly to the feel of the game. The good coaches have that ability. They see a game, they make adjustments. It was blatantly clear that this game at the half was a winnable game. We were down 10-5, less than a touchdown. It was also clear that Tim Boyle wasn't going to be able to deliver that victory because we had some good field position today. And like I said, for the most part, I thought he had some time to throw the football too. I thought the offensive line was competent in the first part of the game. We didn't even whiff the end zone or get close to it. And when we did, we kicked a field goal. 10-5 at the half, a winnable game, I would have pulled him and tried to start Simeon at the half. That would have been the time to bring in Simeon. But no, he lets Boyle go back out there. We get the ball back, 3 and out. We get the ball back again. He throws a pick, and then he pulls him towards the ending part of the third quarter. At that point, what difference did it make? Yeah, Simeon was no better. He was ineffective. But you get the feeling that maybe, perhaps, had they have started him this week and have given him more than a week to prepare, since our last game was on Black Friday, with the first team offense, maybe we could have been better. Maybe we could have scored at least 15, 16 points to win this game. But this is what we have at quarterback, and we don't have a head coach, again, that is able to press the right buttons to try to make the most out of a shitty situation. So here we are. We're 4-18 with talent, but we're not going to make the playoffs. And we're going to go down as one of the worst teams historically on offense. Totally unacceptable. And again, the GM has to be at fault here. I can't understand for the life of me how you put all your eggs in one basket, especially with a quarterback that was going to be 40 years old coming into the season. Anything could have happened. At that age, the likelihood of you getting injured at 40 years old is probably a lot higher than the likelihood of you getting injured when you're 25 years old. So even if he wasn't out for the season, but he did get banged up and he was out a couple games, does that mean you punt on those 2 games? No, you get a veteran quarterback in here that's going to be able to take the reins and hopefully play competent football enough for us to win games while you're not in there. But no, we want to keep Zach because I drafted him second. And I want to prove to people that I didn't whiff on that pick, even though that was proven last year that you whiffed on that. You wanted to justify it, right? You wanted to keep him here. You wanted to salvage the kid. The only way for you to have any shot at salvaging that kid was to redshirt him this year. Third string, never dress him. He was going to play quarterback from the sidelines the entire year. Did you really think that sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 months in OTAs and training camp during Hard Knocks was going to automatically fix him and turn him into an NFL quarterback? Really? That's what you thought? Well, how'd that shit work out? All these guys that were available for him to bring in the off season before the season started as a veteran option, he whiffed on. And I don't care what Jet fans say. Some Jet fans will tell you they don't like Carson Wentz. Well, guess what? He's light years better than anything that we have on our roster right now. That's reality. Jacoby Brissett, Nick Foles, if he would have been available. I don't know where he is, but I'd take him right now over the assemblance of stiffs that we have. Not to mention, Gardner Minshew, those guys, Joshua Dobbs. You could have got him in the offseason. You also could have got him at the trade deadline for a 6th rounder had you made that call. But no, we're good at what we got here in this quarterback room. How could you possibly think that when you see these guys play quarterback? Tim Bowles wasn't good in college. At least Zach Wilson was good in college. How could you look at Tim Boyle's game tape and realistically think he was the best option that you had right after Aaron Rodgers went down to back up a quarterback who clearly wasn't ready to play, wasn't ready to take the starting reins on a team that was playoff ready? Tim Boyle, really? What'd you see out of that video that nobody else didn't see? He was a better option than even Mike White, who you had on your team already, and you let him basically walk for nothing? Mike White would have been the perfect backup. But again, no, your ego. Well, this is what happens when you worry more about your ego than making decisions that's in the betterment of the team. This is what you get. And then to sit back and not do anything at the trade deadline to address an already decimated offensive line with anybody? Unacceptable. Fireable offense, if you ask me. And like I said, I'm not a Joe Douglas hater. I said that on my last video. But what he's done this year with this team, basically pissing away and punting this season, is a fireable offense, in my opinion. This is a broken team, poor leadership from the top on down, poor coaching, poor execution, discipline, still undisciplined, a lack of discipline, another 11 penalties. And I know a lot of them were ticky-tack. I get that. The NFL needs to address that shit too, because that's crazy. It's getting to the point that I don't even want to watch an NFL game because every other play is a ticky-tack or stupid penalty. Enough is enough with that. Officials need to be held accountable, but that's for another video. That's on the docket for another video. And I'm not saying that the Jets lost today because of the penalties. I'm not saying that. They lost today because they suck. Period. I get that. But the ticky-tack fouls is bullshit. Still, all in all, we showed a lot of undiscipline undiscipline today as well. Pre-snap penalties. We had some defensive penalties, unnecessary. I mean, you can't win like that. You can't win. Been saying it for weeks. Saleh has to get on these guys' ass. We're not good enough to be able to shoot ourselves in the foot and beat any team in the NFL. I don't think we're going to beat anybody going forward. Sad. It's sad how this season just got away from us, and it seems like they're just punting this thing away. It'd be a miracle that if Saleh is able to keep this group together without totally giving up. They're a game away from just saying, we're done. Can you blame them? Can you blame the defense, especially with the shit that they're seeing? They got a front row seat to the garbage that they're seeing on offense. And you know what I feel bad for the most? The fans. The fans that pay their hard-earned money to go to that stadium. And trust me, I've been there because I've been to a ton of games when I lived in the Northeast. That spend their hard-earned money, tailgate, spend money on merchandise, to sit and watch in the rain, in the cold, this garbage that you saw today. Totally unacceptable. If it were me, I would have left at the half. For whoever fans stood, for that whole game, my compliments to you. Because I'm watching from TV and I wanted to shut this thing off about 4 or 5 times. But again, I'm emotionally invested. I'm a fan. Sucks. I look in the mirror too. Why am I watching this team? Why am I wasting my time? It's just, like I said, it isn't good. And the crazy part about it is, you don't see any solution anytime soon. The thing that I look forward to the most, and I don't know if I speak for most Jet fans, is I just want the season to be over, man. It's just been a nightmare. It started out 4 plays in as a nightmare, and it hasn't gotten really any better. I mean, there was a little bit of a bright spot early on, when we beat the Eagles, and then it went right back down to shit. I just want the season to end. I really do. And let's just start all over and reset. And, we're not making the playoffs. So Aaron Rodgers, dude, give it up. We appreciate you trying to come back. We appreciate, hey, I'm going to be back, and now you're at practice. For the guys, I mean, I get all that stuff, but do yourself a favor and just rest up. Get that Achilles stronger. Give yourself a full off season to get right, and then you come back next year, and hopefully we can run this thing and do next year what we were all hoping that the Jets were going to do this year. My thing is, do I have any confidence in this front office and coaching staff for us to be able to change anything and make those right moves in the offseason to kind of plug in some of these holes that we have? I don't know. I mean, I have no confidence in Joe Douglas right now. Saleh as a coach, Hackett as a coordinator. I mean, you got to hope that a 40-year-old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, is going to come in. He's going to mask a lot of these deficiencies, right? So if we have some holes on the line, if they're not addressed, you hope that, his play can mask that. You hope that his play can mask Hackett's play calling, Saleh's coaching. That's what I was hoping would happen this year. You're hoping that happens next year. And then Douglas, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean, you hope that, he'll be able to plug in the holes that need to be plugged. I mean, I don't see Zach Wilson coming back, so he's going to be forced to have to get a veteran guy behind Aaron. I'd be curious to see how that goes. Because for those fans out there that realistically think that if they lose out, Douglas and Saleh are getting fired and Hackett, that's not happening. Reality is that's not happening. Should it happen? Yeah, absolutely. I think it should. But it's not. And we all know it's not. I get a strong feeling. In fact, I can bet on it. I bet money that the minute Aaron Rodgers went down, they were assured by ownership that their jobs would be safe the rest of the way. Just go out there and play it out and see what we can do. and then we'll reset next year. Shouldn't have been that way because this team was still talented enough to make the playoffs, but I guarantee you that's what happened. And this is why we're seeing what we're seeing here. Because it's almost like once the season started, that was it. Douglas went on vacation. To me, the best GMs are the GMs that make the moves in season, not off season. They're built to be able to do that off season with all the scouting and the time and the trades and the caps, culture, who's going to fit here. You got time to put all that together. But it's the great GMs that are able to pivot during the regular season and plug in holes, ineffective play, get some guys in here that can be an upgrade over guys that just aren't playing well. You get some injuries, you get some guys that you can plug in. And even if you don't have injuries, I mean, anything that you could possibly do to upgrade your team and make it better, like the Niners did by picking up Chase Young. They didn't realistically need to do that. Their defensive line was set. It just made them even better. And right now, they're just a well-oiled machine. Those are the good GMs. To me, a GM's job is judged by what you do in season, not just off season. But let's see what he can do off season. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered. The offensive line needs to be addressed. We'll see. I mean, again, I'm not confident, but getting Aaron Rodgers back will be a boost of, boost of energy for me, hopefully for most fans. And I apologize, I have to come out here and do these rant videos. It really isn't fun, but you know how we do, Jet fans. To my Jet fan people and followers. I mean, this is what we do, man. We ride together, we die together. Good times and bad times, more bad than good. But this is how we roll. This is our therapy, man. Group hug time, so to speak, right? But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Not really much more to say about what happened today. You're hoping that things are different, but they're not gonna change anytime soon. The Jets are not gonna be good, and we're gonna have to deal with that and move on. But if you are new to watching my videos, please subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and definitely hit that notification button so that you're alerted anytime I drop some new content. I'm dropping new content all the time, and like I said, a lot of it is gonna I'm not gonna be rambling about negative shit. We're gonna be doing some positive stuff. We're gonna be doing some playoff videos, right? Some NBA stuff. We'll get into some baseball in the offseason. There's going to be some really cool stuff that I got lined up there, some boxing. So 2024 is going to be a big year for us here at the Hangout Spot. Hopefully you're going to be here to enjoy the ride with me. But anyway, I appreciate everybody watching and sticking there with me. As always, this is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout Spot, and I'll talk to everybody soon.